So, how are you finding the bedding business? All Dave gets to write about these days is disruption, disruption, disruption.
There's disruption, and I think the chaos is starting to settle down a little bit. I think the online and brick and mortar are slowly meeting, starting. I think there's going to be a meld in the near future. You know, as you know, Casper had a space at Market. Nectar, we have Nectar on our floor. Tuft and Needle, I think, will soon be available. Brick and mortar. So I think, you know, as much as they've grown, I think they're realizing they need us, and I think as much as they've taken market share, we kind of need them. So I think there'll be a happy medium in the near future, I believe.
Yeah, it seems like they've created a new path to a brand. If you think about the traditional way that brands enter the marketplace, they've kind of upset that model, but even though they've arrived in a different way, they seem to be kind of getting to the place that the traditional, you know, the Tempur Sealy's or the Tempur-Pedics and the Sealy's and the Sertas and the Simmons, ultimately they seem to have established a certain brand presence with consumers. And
yeah, you know, a different path for purchasing, and a different way to get brand awareness much quicker than, you know, the traditional Tempur, Sealy, Simmons guys ever did. You know, Tempur kind of led the charge for the last 15 years as far as building brand. You know, the big S brands, you know, they're in at holidays and they're out. You know, Tempur did a year, you know, 365-day a year brand building deal for many years. And then Casper kind of came and created a new environment, and, you know, went from 3 or 4% to, you know, 15 plus now, I guess.
yeah, I think the box bed guys are probably now about 20%, which is a pretty big number.
Yeah, and it's funny because I looked at Bed in the Box 15 years ago, you know, even maybe longer. I mean, it's not any new shakes, and before Casper, all of my imported Visco came in a box. I mean, it's just, they created a new marketing strategy. You know, it's all marketing, and the product is almost irrelevant, because if you know, walk through the market, every other door has a Bed in the Box in the window. So it's, you know, the product is the easy part, the marketing is the expensive part, and the creative part that I think those guys kind of, hats off to them. You know, they did a good job. Like Sleep Number.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Sleep Number has kind of created its own environment. They don't have many competitors. Very similar.
How is that changing your floor? I mean, you can offer those brands, but do you offer them boxed? Do you see more consumers wanting to come in and cash and carry a mattress out, throw it in the car and go? Does it change that model?
It's slowly transforming. I mean, it's, as much as, you know, it sounds more convenient to order online, get it delivered to your house, it's really not. I mean, it comes on a day that you don't select. You still have to carry that 50, 60, 70 pound mattress to whichever room it's going to. You got to get rid of your old one. You know, we deliver the day you want for free. We set it up for free. We take away your old one for free. It's really far more convenient to buy it in a traditional sense from us than, you know, Casper or one of those guys, even though on the surface it sounds easier. And our digital and web presence is getting better and better, and our spend is getting bigger and bigger. So, you know, we're entering that arena in a pretty substantial way for our model. You know, we're still in this to be profitable, and if every sale I had was $7.99, I don't think you'd be sitting here.
Probably neither of us would be sitting here.
Yeah,
right?
you know, it's a hard deal when your cost of acquisition is so high, your product costs, your shipping costs. At the end of the day, I don't know that these guys are very profitable. You know, they're brand building and they're market share gaining and their volume, but I don't know that they're bringing much to the bottom line at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So, unfortunately, a mattress is still very touch feel kind of purchase. It's a major purchase. It's not a, you know, consumable good. You know, it's 8 to 10 years. So I think a lot of consumers are still willing to take that hour out of their day or whatever to come and lay down.
It's maybe I'm just too old, but it's inconceivable to me to buy a mattress that I hadn't laid down on and at least tried to get a sense of the feel. I mean, that's something you spend at least 8 hours a night on. How that feels seems so critical. The idea of a blind purchase for that is just inconceivable to me.
It's tough, but the millennial generation, I think, is more willing to take a risk because they're young. Their bodies aren't as needy as ours.
Yeah.
The I can sleep on anything is more true for them than for maybe you and I. But it's tough. I mean, the online deal. I mean, I buy so much online. It's not even funny. I mean, I bought cars, motorcycles. I mean, big ticket items. Never saw it, just from photos. And 85% of the time, I'm pretty happy with the transaction. Sometimes not so happy, but that's the roll of the dice.
I wonder if this is a path to shortened replacement cycles.
Well, at that price point, it is. And I also think that once people experience that purchasing model, maybe the next time around, they'll say, I think I want to go see what I'm getting. I want to try something. Because, the marketing is so good that it kind of gives you the impression that you're getting a $2,000 or $3,000 bed for $899, when in reality, you're getting a bed that, honestly, in our stores, you could get for $699. I could sell you a box mat, free delivery, setup, and everything for $899. Where there you're getting a mattress only at your doorstep. So it's kind of, it's a marketing game. It's
Mm-hmm.
truly a marketing game, and so as that becomes more a realization to the consumers, maybe the next wave, brick and mortar, will get stronger. And as we partner with the online guys more and more, it'll strengthen both arenas, I think. Maybe people will come in to our stores, see it, and then go back and order online, or they'll see it online and say, oh, I can see it at Sit and Sleep, and come and try it and buy it, or try it and buy a Temper, or
trade themselves up.
Move themselves up the needle, which is far more likely as far as being satisfied at the end of the day, I believe.
Does it change the way that you market, your tone, your message?
Absolutely. Oh, our marketing now is far more thoughtful regarding the online bed in the box than it was 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, now we try before you buy is a big, catchphrase. Seen it online, try it here. We're letting the consumer know that you've seen it online, but you can actually try it. Which I think if, a couple years ago they didn't have that option or didn't know they had that option, I think some of those customers would have wanted to try it, but there wasn't an avenue. So I would say, where are we, August? Maybe by winter market, I think we have Nectar now. I think we might have 2 or 3 other online players available in store.
I'm curious, how you work that into the assortment? Do you make a focal point that these are online players and create an online shop within a shop, or do you just work them into the general mix? How do you look at that?
It's more in the stores. I think when you visit Culver City, you'll see there's a segment of store that is more of a bed in the box online kind of presentation. It's segregated, not in a bad way, but if someone asks, I saw tufted needle online, do you have that? They can take them right there and say, well, here's what we have, boom, 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 and let the consumer try, and say, well, and here we have 100 other SKUs over here that you can try. I mean, our stores are pretty vast selection. I think when you go to Culver, it's 120 SKUs. So a little different model than a typical mattress store.
Just a little bit.
A little bit. But that's, how we built this business is service selection, mattress superstore. Those were all our catchphrases in the 90s, through current.
Does the term superstore carry the same connotation today for consumers that it did in the 90s?
No, not at all. Because of our digital online world, superstore is not irrelevant, but not as important, because the superstore is here. It's vast and endless, where as big as we are, it's finite. And we have a lot of brands, and we have a lot of SKUs and a lot of selection, but we also have great sales associates. I mean, our average tenure is 10 years. I mean, they're long-term, very professional, nice people. I mean, they're very, they're smart, intelligent, not a high pressure, chase you in the parking lot kind of operation. They know what they're doing, and they want you to get what's right for you, not what's right for them. So it's worked to our favor.
How is the in-store experience? Because that's the thing everybody talks about today, is for brick and mortar to thrive in the next generation, you have to really deliver an in-store experience.
Experience is the key word. I mean, when you call our stores, they say, thanks for calling the Sit and Sleep Experience. Welcome to the Sit and Sleep Experience. I mean, that's a catchphrase that we've adopted a few years ago, and it's truly, a customer is not a customer, it's a guest, and they're treated as a guest, and it doesn't matter if you're spending $299 or $12,000. The experience should be the same no matter what. We use bed match technology. We start you there and get you fitted, with technology, and there's a vast selection. And our salespeople will direct you professionally. You're not going to be overwhelmed. You're not going to be in a sea of mattresses and confused. Our goal is for each guest to be guided, so it's not a, hey, look around and give me a shout when you see something you like. If they want to be left alone, we will, but the goal is for them to have the experience of our expertise helping them, because it's a foreign purchase. I mean, most people haven't bought a bed in 5, 8, 10, 15 years, and it's a little intimidating, and you don't know what you don't know. You might come in thinking, well, I have $1,000, I'm going to get a Cadillac, and in reality, that's kind of the starting level.
That's kind of where a good mattress starts.
Well, to get something good, if you really want, a mattress that's you're going to love for 8 to 10 years, I think you're going to realize you need to spend a little more. And we'll start at the top and work down. We'll start in the middle and work up. I mean, the guest is driving the bus, and it's not a high-pressure situation at all.
It's funny, I think the marketing of the boxed bed guys was aimed at trying to attack the pain points that consumers had with that traditional shopping experience.
And that seems to be going away a little bit. The message of brick and mortar is evil seems to be kind of disappearing as they're coming over to our side of the fence.
Well, I would think it has to, right? It's easy to do that when you're pure and, we don't ever go. It's a little hard to say we're going to sell through brick and mortar even though they're evil.
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
You can't simultaneously embrace
Can't be
and
yin and
reject the
yang.
evil empire. Yeah.
So
Um,
that is true.
I wonder to what extent, and I guess I would have to ask this of the guys at Nectar or Casper, I wonder to what extent that was a planned strategy, whether the model was originally to always be online or whether from the beginning the intent was we'll start offline and then we'll eventually expand, because you can only go so far without retail stores, right? I mean, at this point, how much could Casper
Yeah.
or Nectar grow without having that touch point with the consumer? I wonder.
I don't know initially if there was an end game strategy, but I think as it progressed, they realized their world is somewhat finite, and the marketing expense to drive it on your own back 100% is pretty onerous. So, at the end of the day, Casper and these guys, I'm sure their investors are going to say, I want a return.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that's happened yet. So they have to shift gears a little bit to see, well, how can I reduce my acquisition cost to get some profitability here?
The
And
other
I
thing,
think a partnership with brick and mortar is the answer.
well, I think if you're going to ultimately get the volume that you need and to really achieve velocity, there is no other way around it. I find it interesting too that Casper started out with one mattress fits all. You don't need all of that selection, and that has fairly quickly morphed and started to become more of a traditional
They have 3 or 4
selection
beds
strategy.
now, and honestly, when they came out with the one bed fits all, we felt a little insulting to the consumer. That's like saying, one shoe fits all, or if you want to go play basketball, you're going to wear your loafers. That's a fallacy in almost every consumer product. There's not one fit for everybody, and but it was a good tagline at the time, and it got them traction, and got the ball rolling. And I think when they needed to grow, we need some selection.
Well, I think from the standpoint of, when we talked about this earlier, addressing a consumer pain point. I think one of the things that consumers sometimes become overwhelmed with, you walk in and there's a sea of mattresses, and that becomes overwhelming to think, how do I navigate that sea? And so by saying, you don't need to, right? We got you. You just need one, and we have the perfect mattress for you. And no matter what your size, no matter what your shape, no matter what you are, one mattress fits all. So psychologically, I think it plays to that elimination of a concern.
True. And as I stated earlier, one of our goals is to have a guided tour so that a guest is not overwhelmed, because it is a sea of mattresses. And honestly, once you do bed match, you might look at 4 beds, maybe 5. It's out of 100 beds on the floor, it's going to give you a firmness category, so that eliminates 2/3 of them. And then, the professional sales help you'll receive will narrow it down pretty quick to, you might try, I would say, average about 4 beds to find the right bed.
Bed match has really been kind of a game-changing technology, it seems.
And it's legit. I mean, it's not a smoke and mirrors, hocus pocus. It's millions and millions of data points, and 20 plus years of research have gone in, and data points have gone in there. So it's the real deal. It's not a pressure mapping red, blue, green smoke and mirror kind of deal. It's legit. And it's one of our cornerstones of great customer service.
The adjustable base business seems to have just exploded in the last 18 months. Is that are you pleased with that?
I'm thrilled. We've had consistent, very large growth for the last 5 years. I mean, just the curve. And my biggest disappointment is our industry's ability to race to the bottom, to take a viable product and cheapen it to the point that it's, the value and the benefits, they just take them out. And a good quality adjustable base should be $1,000, 800, and that's for a good one, not the best, but a very good one.
Mm-hmm.
And when I see advertisements for $2.99 or free, it just cheapens the product, cheapens the consumer's expectations of what they're going to get for that money. Because what you get for that is really some stamped steel that head up only. It isn't what you want. You come in thinking you're going to get a great adjustable experience, and you are shown a head up only,
Well, the other thing
it's pretty cheap.
Well, the other thing I would think that would be a concern is that you turn a consumer off to a potential category of business. If they come in and they have a bad experience with that, do they then turn around and say, oh yeah, I tried that, those don't work? Rather than saying, all right, well, I bought a cheap one, maybe if I get a better one.
Yeah,
You can kill a whole business before it really gets started. I've seen that in other businesses.
Or they feel bait and switched, where they come in expecting to get this for $2.99 or $4.99, and what they want is $11.99, and they feel that they've been led astray. Like, well, this isn't what I want at all. I want this, but you guys are playing games with me. But it's been that way for my whole career. 25 years ago, Spring Air had the Four Seasons silk and wool, and it was at the time $11.99, which back then was pretty expensive.
Really?
And slowly but surely, everyone, took that concept down to $5.99 and $6.99, not letting the consumer know that, well, this is 1% wool where Spring Air was 20% wool. I mean, it's a little bit of false advertising, but it's just the nature of our industry. We love to create a category and then price it as low. Just drive it to the bottom. And the best thing is to have informed professional sales associates that can explain the difference without sounding like they're used car salesmen or something. That they can say, well, here's what you get for this, and I'm happy to sell you this, but here's really what I think you want. Mm-hmm. And it seems to work for us.
Have you found that there's more opportunity in accessories? Because you see just everything from pillows to even sheets now, right? There's a technology story across so much of the accessories business. Mm-hmm. That has to be something that, do you see that expanding in your store? Have you opened up more space for that?
Huge. That's been one of our performance indicators for the last 10 years. I mean, we saw an opportunity that the consumer's in front of you. They're going to go buy sheets somewhere. They're going to go, at least, I'm not going to be Bed Bath & Beyond, but I want to have a solid offering. And our accessory business, let's say 5 to 7 years ago, was 5%, 3 to 5. Now it's 15 to 20%. And it's, we offer high quality sheets. I don't have $39 sheets. I have sheets that you'd want, not, it's not price driven. Mattress protectors are a big part of our business. We have a lot of headboard footboards. The adjustable business is off the charts. So yeah, pillows. We have 25 pillow SKUs. We have the pillow that's right for you. One way or another, we have what you want. And that's part of our process is, as you're looking at mattresses, you're being exposed to, try this pillow with this, try this pillow. And it's been a game changer for us, especially through the recession. Those sales kind of helped keep us from, getting into the red zone. We stayed in the black through all that recession, even though our volume dropped. But accessories are a big part of the business. Mm. And I'm thrilled with it. I love to look at that stuff.
So many of the things that that other people seem to be just adapting in the last 18 to 24 months or becoming big now, you seem to have been out in front of. So I'll ask you, what are you looking at next?
Innovation, digital, that world is a big play for us. Larry's son Drew is really getting up to speed on that. Larry's been the face of our business for 30 plus years. TV, radio has been our vehicle, and we're shifting that mix. Where the online digital world is becoming far more important in the mix, and it's changing our marketing strategies and our budgets. I was talking to someone yesterday, and I think the CBD world is going to enter soft goods, with pillows, sheets. And as soon as that happens, I would say shortly after, you'll find it in mattress ticks. And effective, I don't know. Great marketing, probably. So, I think innovation and things like that are the next wave. Sense and respond mattresses that are, will sense your movements. That's kind of been in play for the last 4 or 5 years, but the technology was a little cumbersome, a little too technical for the consumer at this stage. So I think that's going to simplify and become more of a mainstream item. I think as Select Comfort has created their own niche with Sleep Number, I think Air is going to become a little more out there. So there's going to be a lot more competition in that arena. So there's things coming on.
Yeah, certainly. Were you in Las Vegas last week?
Winter market I go.
Okay.
Summer market, there's not a lot of big introductions, so if I don't have to, I try and pass on that one.
Surprisingly, CERTA had an introduction at Market.
I was shocked that, and I did see that. iComfort. Yeah, they needed to do it quick. It was, they were the brand that cracked the Tempur-Pedic code way back when.
Mm-hmm.
With a product that looked spectacular, felt great, a little bit lower price point, and for years everyone had tried to find that Tempur-Pedic pathway, and they're the ones that broke it open, and they built iComfort up, and then took it down. So the new product, I think, is going to revitalize it. It's a big improvement over where we've been the last 4 or 5 years with iComfort. So I'm excited to bring that in. It should be here before the end of the year.
Okay. Have you seen some of the new adjustable bases that you can operate with Google and with
Yeah.
Alexa?
I'm kind of torn because a bedroom is a sanctuary. I mean, I don't bring my phone I plug it in, not in my bedroom. And I think there's a consumer group that doesn't want to have a tablet on their nightstand. I'm kind of torn.
I'm with you, and I wonder sometimes if it's generational, right? I mean, I think our generation was probably a little more attuned to privacy issues,
Mm-hmm.
and I wonder if young people are, and I wonder if that distinction is generational. I wonder if the younger generation really doesn't worry about it. They actually maybe want Alexa to understand their wants and needs and anticipate their wants and needs, and
Yeah. Alexa.
Oh, do you have Alexa here?
You said it, and that's why she talked.
Oh.
So
I have to
don't
be
know.
careful what I say now.
Yeah. I'm not sure. More and more products are tablet driven or off your phone driven, and I think you need to find a way to do both, because there's a consumer that give me a simple remote, A plus B equals C, or the consumer that wants the world on an iPhone. So that technology is going to be more mainstream in reality. Every market, there's more and more and more of it. At this stage, we've tried some adjustable bases with the tablets, and they didn't resonate well because when you're paying a lot for that technology. You know, a tablet adds $300 or $400. And I think at that stage, a consumer goes, well, for $11.99, I can get a base with a pretty nice remote that does everything I want, or I could be $16.99 and get a tablet that pretty much does the exact same things. And I don't know that price gap doesn't resonate.
I wonder, as these things work their way into the consumer's home and become more a part of everyday life, the power or the influence that gives Google over a consumer search process. So if you say to Alexa, find me a mattress, well, Google is now that's a Google algorithm that will determine what that Thank you, Alexa. But that, essentially Google's algorithm is now determining what ends up in front of the consumer. Mm-hmm. So I wonder how companies have to adapt their marketing to be successful in that kind of a world.
That's the digital play, where you got to pay to play. Where if you search for something and you want our ads to follow, it seems kind of seamless, but it's expensive to do. But that's the world we're in today. Now, like you can track someone's phone if they're within 100 yards of your store, an ad's going to pop up. You can see, if they looked at you here, it'll transfer to the phone, and then you can see, did they go to a competitor? All that technology is out there, and it's kind of like, is it Big Brother? Is it intrusive? Is it legal? It's kind of it's a new territory, and it's interesting.
It is. And I've heard some companies looking at facial recognition software. So as the consumer comes into your store, you can recognize that's John or Mary, and they were in your store, and last time when they were here, they looked at a mattress, and here's the price point, and they looked at a pillow. And so you have all of this information about somebody now right at your disposal. And again, it does, as you say, raise the question, right? What's the line between information gathering and privacy?
The line is blurry and moving. My grandkids might have chips put in them. Who knows? Where it's.
Well, I suspect
it's a brave new world.
They'll grow up with these kinds of digital assistants, and for them, I would guess that it's probably fun, right,
it's
to play with Alexa, and they don't think a thing about what that means. That's just
how life
hey,
is.
Google, find me this or find me that, and they will grow up and just become attuned to that, and it'll be part of their everyday life.
That's the world.
So,
and us old guys have to adapt now if we want to stay relevant and current. Because if your business isn't changing, it's going backwards. And that's a big belief we have, that you need to stay ahead of the curve and not be a follower, but try and be a leader as much as possible. And
does the store itself change as you go forward? Certainly the shopping experience and the way that your staff interacts with the consumer has grown and changed. But does the store itself get larger, get smaller? Do you change the merchandising experience?
Merchandising changes a little more as, we have online kind of displays. Our salespeople are far more technology driven. They use iPads. They can look at inventory, they can write your order, they can do your card, all at the point of the bed. They don't need to handwrite invoices or go to a desktop, or they're pretty savvy on the technology side. So if you have a question, I can answer it right now. I don't have to say, oh, let me go check, let me call my warehouse, all that is available to them at touch of a button. So, we're, I think, probably on the forefront in our industry as far as the tools our people have. Display, we're still kind of a mattress store, it's crisp and clean. But I see in the next few years more of a digital technology kind of experience in store, either with kiosks or screens on the walls. There'll be more information available, that self-help, self-serve kind of thing, where they can see things that they wouldn't see in the store, but they can see them, on a screen in some shape or fashion. And who knows, maybe my kids, when they're sitting here, will be looking at, 3D holographs. That's not out of the realm of short-term reality.
No, I've heard Wayfair already talking about that. That kind of thing that you see in Iron Man, right? Where you have a computer in front of you and
you're just swiping it.
Swipe and move and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, they're working on that right now. It's a brave new world.
It is exciting. You can embrace it, or you can, ignore it, or you can criticize it, but it's coming. So if you want to succeed, you better embrace it. You better learn about it, and you better be at the front of the pack, not the back of the pack.
I wonder what the future means in terms of scale. I hear that, all of these things cost money, all of these things require efficiency. Is it necessary to continue to grow the business and achieve a certain scale? Because right now, in the market that you're in, you have a dominant position here. Do you see the need to continue to expand outward?
Digitally, and I've been doing this 35 years, and I've seen a lot of strong regional players say they were going to conquer the world, and they're bankrupt. Time and time and time again. We've created a brand in Southern California that is extremely recognizable. Larry's a mini celebrity in Los Angeles. Our advertising umbrella covers all our stores. This facility covers all our stores, so our cost containment is very manageable. If we expand to Phoenix or Las Vegas, then it's a new facility, a whole new advertising, and as much as we're a big deal here, they don't know us there from anybody. Right. So it depends on my mentality is we still have opportunities within this marketplace to grow, and I don't see anything wrong with being the strongest regional player in your marketplace. I don't need to conquer the world. My ego is very secure. If our kids, which are in the business, want to conquer the world, when we hand the baton over, we'll see. But it's...
What's it like bringing your kids into the business? Was that a conscious, planned effort? Was it organic? Did they choose on their own? Was it an option, or did they say, you will be in the business, and this is the way it's going to be?
No, it was because I have 4 kids. Larry has 2 kids. And we've been together for 35 years, and our kids are cousins, so they are like this. And Larry's son, Drew, is now in digital marketing, and he's going to be the next face of the business, we all assume. His daughter's in medical school, so there's a 50-50 split. I have a son that's a chef in Minnesota. I have a daughter who's a stockbroker. And then I have a son who's on the wholesale side where I'm his customer. And he's been doing that.
Does he give you a good deal?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. He's a good salesman. But he's been doing it for 14 or 15 years, and he's very successful. And then my youngest son is a store manager. You'll meet him today when you visit Culver City. And he'll probably be, the head of sales, in our growth as we grow. The business has gone from one tiny little store with 3 people to, we have 140 plus salespeople and 40 locations, and it's come a long way, but we haven't layered a lot of management. I mean, I still do all the merchandising, all the buying, sales reports to me. Larry does all the marketing and the finance, and we're here. We're here, and I don't have a million vice presidents and directors, and I go to market. It's me. I don't bring 6 people following me around.
No entourage.
No, I mean, it's mattresses. I mean, it's, whether you have 1 store or 40 stores, it's a replication business. It's not, it's not that difficult to pick out a solid assortment of products, and then you just replicate it. It's actually, I find it pretty easy. So, and I like doing it, and so as our kids come into the business, there's kind of like, they have to work their way up. I mean, Drew was in the stores for a long time. Nate's in the stores. My son on the other side, I couldn't afford him. I mean, if he wanted to come into the business, he'd have to take a 50% pay cut. I mean, there's no silver spoons or guarantees. You have to work hard, and you have to, learn the business. And it's good. They're healthy. They're good kids. Fortunately, all our kids have done well, whether in this business or outside this business. So, we're pretty fortunate.
It's fun to watch your children develop as independent people.
I know. Well, now I have grandkids, and that's a blast. They're growing up too quick. They need to slow down. And he wrote on one of his little school papers, he wants to be a mattress seller.
Oh, that's great. Starting early, so the next generation is already underway.
They're already getting primed. So.
It's interesting that he knows what the family business is. So many times children don't really think about or know what their parents do or what their grandparents do.
They know, and their dad is on the wholesale side, so they know I'm his customer. And I mean, he's trying to sell me some product line. He'll send me a video with them giving me the sob story.
Oh, using the grandkids.
He's merciless.
Oh my goodness.
He has no shame.
That's terrific.
It's pretty funny.
That is funny.
It's pretty funny.
Well, thanks for taking so much time. I really appreciate it.
No, it's my pleasure.